Hi folks, welcome back to the channel. So if you were watching yesterday's video, which was my plans for 2019, you'll know that the new schedule means that Wednesdays are War Games and Miniature Game Wednesdays. And I'm going to start that off today, as teased yesterday, with my New Year, New Army. So this doesn't mean I won't be covering a multitude of different games again. I'm just going to try and build an army for a game I've not played before, to try and get something onto the table and really share the journey about building an army, getting an army onto the table fast, and also playing my first few games as well. So, for those that are wondering what that game is going to be Warhammer 40,000. Now, yeah, I've not played this before. I'll rephrase that. I've played one game in 5th edition, and I didn't enjoy it, and I sold all my Space Marines, and went on to play Malifaux in those days. I've kind of always watched Warhammer 40k from afar, and essentially a game can't have that many people playing it and not be particularly very good. So this year is going to be the year I really try and dip my toe in and give it a real go. I've tried a couple of times in the past and I always end up just getting a bit sidetracked, or I end up not really wanting to kind of paint the army. So I've really given it some hard thought this time. I've not put it out to a public vote like I did previously, because I ended up with an army that I wasn't really engaged with. This time I've gone with an army I've wanted to do for quite some time, and that army is Space Wolves. So I'm starting, as most of you might do when you're first getting into 40k, with a start collecting box. So I've got the start collecting Space Wolves box. I think this was, I've had this one quite a while actually, from a point when I was going to start and then never did, but I'm committed to it this time. I've actually built all of the start collecting box here. So everything is built, everything is primed, ready for painting, and I'm going to show you that today. In fact, I'm going to show you it now. So we'll start off with the Wolf Lord, and he is the HQ of this this small start collecting box. And I've equipped him as he is, sort of in the instruction manual, really, for want of more knowledge and understanding more about the game at this point. So I've given him a power sword, and I've given him a storm bolt, I should say. And what I've also done as well, because it's quite difficult to get to his cape, I've actually I've just put a pin in between the upper torso and the legs there as well, so I can take it apart and paint the back of the cape and then glue it together when it's all done. One thing I tend to do when I'm painting armies is I tend to do them in sort of sub-assemblies to make sure I can get to the bits that you can't always get to with a brush. However, what I found is this really slows down my painting. It does make a really good finish, but it really slows down the painting. So this time I've tried to keep everything assembled as much as I can to try and speed up that process. Next up, I've done a 5-man unit of Grey Hunters. And the guy in the middle there with his frost axe is a wolf guard pack leader. So he is basically the leader of this 5-man unit. And I've equipped the other guys, the other 3 guys at the back, with a chainsword and a bolt gun. And I've also, because I've got 5 people in the unit, that means I can have 1 specialist weapon. And in this case, I've gone for a plasma gun. Again, I've put everything together on these. There's nothing in sub-assemblies. I'll be making sure that I get as much as I can with the airbrush, to be honest. Trying to get the main colours on and the highlights with the airbrush, and then go in and pick up the details with things like their shoulder pads and their faces just with the brush. So the idea is to get these done as quickly as possible to a decent tabletop standard. So hopefully that's where it ends up. Next, I've gone for another 5-man unit of Grey Hunters, and the guy in the centre, the Wolf Guard pack leader. This time I've equipped him with a power fist, and I've also given him a bolt gun. Again, I've armed them with chainswords and bolt pistols, except again for the 5th man there, the guy on the left, who has a really, I love that helmet. I've tried to keep as many sort of the unhelmeted heads, if you like, in this set, because I really do like the fact that they've got those kind of plaited beards and the kind of the crazy hair that really, it gives a lot of theme to the Space Wolves. But I do like this wolf head helmet, so I've given that to my my guy with a specialist weapon there, who's got his plasma gun as well. And last but not least from this start collecting box is my Thunderwolf Cavalry. The guy on the left there, I've given a thunder hammer and a plasma pistol, as it shows it's on the box, so I thought that let's go with that. At this point in time, I do have a copy of the Codex as well, so I've kind of been reading through that, trying to understand it, but at this point, I'm basically, as long as it's legal and it looks cool, that's kind of where I've started from. I'm sure at some point I'll probably regret that, but I'm going for rule of cool at the moment. The guy in the centre there, I've given him a power axe and a storm shield. And the guy on the right hand side there, he's got a chainsaw and a bolt gun. So there's just something about these models. They're really, really thematic. I really love them. The way the kind of the wolves are just sort of prowling around as well. And this one in the center, I'm particularly like. I've managed to mount it on some cork, so it looks like he's diving sort of off some rocks there. And what I've done is I've pinned the back legs into there to give some extra stability as well. But I'm really looking forward to giving these a really nice paint job as well. But again, I'm aiming it quick. You might be able to tell there from this video that I've given it a zenithal highlight. So I primed them black, went above from the top with a Vallejo Ghost Grey, and hopefully this gives me a nice base to work from. And then I'll get in there with the with either a Fang Grey or Fang Blue. I'm not really sure whether it's a blue or a grey colour, but I'll come in there with a Space Wolf Blue and start to kind of highlight up from there with the airbrush. And for the fur, for the wolves themselves, I think it's going to be just a case of giving some airbrush kind of different shading to it, and then maybe just come in with a dry brush and pick up the tips of the fur as well. So there you have it. That's my my Space Wolves stock collecting box. Haven't actually worked out how many points it is yet, because I guess at this stage it's probably irrelevant. But yeah, we'll go from there. So that's the start of my Space Wolves army. I'm going to be sharing every couple of weeks a bit of an update video on how I'm getting along with the painting and what units to buy next. And if you're a Space Wolves player, I'd love to know what you would suggest to buy after that start collecting box. But I'm going to try and sort of paint them up before I move on to the next unit. I'm going to try and maybe get some smaller points games in to get my head around it, understand how the game plays, and I'm definitely going to commit to getting 2,000 points of Space Wolves. Who knows what will happen at the end of that, whether I continue to play, start a different army, or whether I just decide it's not really for me, but I'm going to commit to getting 2,000 points, and this channel is going to help me commit to that. So every couple of weeks, come back and there'll be a bit of an update on how I'm getting along. If you'd like to see more about Space Wolves, then why not consider subscribing? Click that subscribe button and the bell notification so you don't miss any more Space Wolves videos. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.